Hello there. I'm so glad that you could join us. My guest today is a lovely woman who is a certified Ayurvedic health counselor and energy healer, and her name is Anumeha Gupta. And she helps mothers release pent up anger so that they can have energy to bring their gifts to the world. It's really exciting. When I met her, I was so excited. I was like, thank you so much for talking about this. Anna Meha studied Ayurveda with Dr. J. Apti, as well as Mother Maya, who is a Vedic monk. She's also a certified yoga teacher and theta healing practitioner. Over the past 9 years, her transformational workshops and consultations in the US and in India have helped many women implement holistic tools to deepen their power of gentleness, forgiveness, and love. And I really want to give her a warm welcome to Say Yes to Your Soul.
Thank you. Thank you, Tessa. And welcome to all the listeners. I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, I'm happy that you're here too. I'm glad that we met. We met in a, I like to tell people where we met. We met in a women's community, and we never really know who's going to be there. And I was just so excited when I heard a little bit about you and what you were doing, and especially helping women to release pent up anger because it's so needed. And I'd love for you to just jump on in and share a little bit about your story of how you came to do this, because I know you went through your own journey with anger.
Yeah, that's true, Tessa. Absolutely. So for me, even as a child, I always wanted to keep the peace. That was very important to me. Very important. So much so that my dad tells me if he asked me if I will have chocolate ice cream or vanilla, I will think about what my dad wants me to have and then make the choice.
Ah, wow. That is really like taking peacekeeping to another level, I think.
Yeah. So you can imagine that I was never in connection with myself and what I wanted. And that used to bring these bursts of anger every like 4, 5 months. There'll be a day when either I'll just sob the whole day or I will get so angry I have to throw something to calm down.
Ah. So when that would happen, like, did you know ahead of time that it was going to after a while that it was going to happen? And, I'm just going along. I think I'm doing everything right. Okay, so you didn't know that, but then it would just like blurt out
It
something.
was just blurt out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like every time 4 months or 5 months, like I don't remember now, it's very hazy. But I do remember that after I had children, after I had children, I started having more episodes of getting angry.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I can imagine that it was more like a daily occurrence than,
Uh,
every few months, after a while anyway.
yeah, like it, yeah, children seem to push all the buttons. They know exactly, exactly how to trigger you, how to test you. And I have two children now. They are 14 years old and 10 years old. And I noticed that when I got really mad, I had to throw something. That's generally what happened to me.
You had to like throw a glass or
I have to
throw
throw
just like a
something.
pillow or
Yes, something I have to throw.
okay.
It's even if I'm telling myself, I don't react, relax, try to breathe, try to count till 10, all these tools that we learn. I'm trying to remind myself to do that, but in the heat of the moment, the only thing that will calm me down is when I can pick up something and throw it. It doesn't have to hit anyone. No, thankfully. It didn't have to hit anyone, but I had to throw something. So I was very good at choosing what to throw.
Unlike me, who at one time I threw a vacuum cleaner. Like that was a big deal. Like there was so much anger happening. I think I was 13 years old. It took some explaining.
Yeah.
But
Can
okay,
imagine.
so what kinds of things, like we're having a little fun here, but I mean, this was a serious problem. Like
Yes.
my outbursts like happened once every 5 years. Like, but you were
Ah,
having them, every few months, and then you had
yes.
kids, and then it's happening often, and you would like what, look around and pick up a pillow or something? Like you had that much consciousness that you
Ah,
could choose what
yes.
you were gonna throw.
Yes.
Okay.
For some reason, I never chose a pillow. That was too soft. I would choose.
Aha.
For some
Yeah.
reason, it had to be the perfect density that it makes me feel powerful when I throw it and it doesn't
Yes.
break.
Oh, I totally understand that. Yeah, there's something very satisfying
Yeah.
in that the catharsis that happens, even if it was unconscious,
Mm,
catharsis. It was still energy pent up that needed to be released.
released. Oh, yeah.
So what happened though? What like, you
Ah.
can go along for a while doing that, and the kids are thinking, well, that's just mom, like stay out of the way, you know.
So that's interesting, because one day I actually threw an iPad. I threw the
Yeah.
iPad and I carefully aimed it on the bed. So I had that much self-control.
Yes.
And of course, I threw the iPad because my child refused to turn it off. And I had this voice in my head telling me, too much screen, too much screen. Your child has watched too much screen and you're not a good mother. And how could you even allow this? And all the shoulds of motherhood
Yes.
started going on in my head. And that made me very mad. And I got so mad at the iPad more than my child because I like, why was it ever invented? Why did someone
It's
have to do this to moms?
exactly. It's really messing kids up. It's doing
Yeah.
this, it's doing that. How,
Yeah.
how is this
I
a
was,
good thing?
yeah, I was so mad at the iPad. I picked that up and I threw it on the bed. But unfortunately it bounced off the bed and it stopped working. And then I see both my children bawling and they were so scared. Mom can throw an iPad. Oh, that was the ultimate for them. They got really scared.
Oh,
Yeah. That's when
yeah.
I also got scared.
So you saw it in their faces and you
Yes.
felt you were tuned in to them and you realized how awful that would have been for them. Tell me about that. So you were scared. What did you think next? What did you do next?
It's like this, Tessa. Every time I've been angry, I've seen it disconnects me with the person. It brings a disconnect in my
Yep.
relationships, right? And I saw that disconnection, and it literally, you can imagine my children putting one more brick in the wall between them and me when that happened, right? And I was like, I had heard enough older women advise me that always keep your communication lines open with the children. And they grew up so soon and all these things, right? And I
Right.
I got so scared that, oh my gosh. And if you remember, it started with me thinking I'm not a good mom. And it ended with me thinking, oh my gosh, I have no hope,
Oh,
right?
yes. What do I do?
What do
So
I do?
eh, so right then, like just even in that moment, you're looking at your kids. What did you do right then?
I started crying first. So we are all now crying. And then I apologized to them. I picked up the iPad. I tried to fix the iPad. I tried to get, finally, we managed to actually get a new one. At the same time, I said, enough. I need to find out why I'm getting angry. Can someone please tell me why? Because this was not so big. This was not such a big problem. My child was refusing to turn off the iPad. Why is it such a big problem, right?
Right. You really caught yourself. You caught that you had so much invested in the anger, but it didn't really match up to what was actually happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing I noticed, Tessa, is I always seem to be getting angry at the male species. That's another
Oh.
pattern I noticed.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
How is that working for you?
Not good at all. Not good at all. So
What did you
I
learn
knew.
from that?
So when I did all the digging, all the learning I did, my Ayurveda, my yoga, my theta healing, everything I did really to understand my own anger. Where is this coming from, And at that time, I remember after I done my Ayurveda and yoga and I was counseling mothers, for some reason, I was attracting moms who were also angry with the men in their lives.
Oh, interesting. Yes.
Yeah. So as I dug deeper, I found out that I was carrying ancestral anger towards patriarchy.
Well, I that's awesome that you found that out. I am curious how how did you get to that stage where you realized that? Like what
Mhm.
did you have to go through
Oh, that's a
first?
very
Because that's
interesting,
right. That's
very,
not like the first thing.
very interesting story. Thank you, Tessa, for asking that. So I was in India, and that's when I started going to some healers over there as well to understand my anger. And there was this man, this male healer I went to, very interestingly, and he asked me, he showed me actually everyone who I was getting mad at was a man. He showed. And he said, so interesting, Anu, that you chose to come to me for healing. And then between sessions with him, one day I was walking on the road in India and a cyclist went very close to me. He was a man on a cycle and he rode his bike very close to me. Okay. Now it was a little too close for comfort and maybe it was a genuine mistake. But Tessa, I kid you not, my reaction to someone so close to me, a man, was I just wanted to pick up my hand and literally chop his head off.
Mm,
I had such
yes.
a strong feeling. Again, my hand, again, I just want to literally do a karate chop, hit him on his neck, and I wanted him to fall off his bike.
And so you're seeing all that in your
Yeah.
mind's eye, like,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, I'm holding back
wow.
my hand and I can feel that power in my hand, literally fighting with me. No, let me go, let me go. I need revenge. I need closure.
And I need to be heard.
I need exactly.
Yeah, wow. So how did this help you on your journey of understanding?
So I have studied with the Vedic monk Mother Maya, and Mother Maya does a lot of work on ancestral healing.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, so you were in that process because all these healing modalities, they take some time. We get into them and we've got to go a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper. What were some of the things that you noticed you needed to unlock? Like, were they repressed memories, or was it literally like in the genes, or like in dreamland, or what was your personal experience of it, Anumeha?
Hmm. One, we carry a lot of it in our womb.
Yes.
So I did a lot of womb healing through meditations. And there is a very powerful meditation, which now I do for others, where you go to your womb and then you go to the wombs of the women who came before you in your ancestry and you gift them love and you gift them compassion. gift all these women, and you feel that peace, in your whole, in this whole chain.
That's really beautiful. That would be very powerful energy, and whatever was out of balance in, let's say, the wombs of the ancestors or in ourselves, these these things are the like little mini traumas, and then they get passed down to the next generation and down to the next generation. That energy has to go somewhere. And then it shows up, in my understanding of it is that it shows up as kind of like the shadow,
Hmm.
right? Like things are happening, we don't know why they're happening, or or like with you, you want to throw things, but you don't know why. And
Right.
it can be overwhelming, the urges that we get, whether it's that or it's that we want to eat food or do some other behavior, because it's a lot of energy. And usually those things that created the trauma or created the imbalances were relatively traumatic. They could have been emotionally traumatic, they could have been
Hmm.
physically traumatic. There was something that never got spoken and never got witnessed and released. So that sounds like that's very powerful healing meditation that you did.
Yes, that was powerful. And I would say that with that, I combined it with theta healing. And
Okay.
theta
Yep.
healing actually explained to me very clearly what was going on, very clearly.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would like to share that here.
Please. Yes.
So, what I understood, Tessa, is someone in my ancestry, some lady, she had a very traumatic time with men, and she formed a belief that I am a victim of men. And this belief went deep in her subconscious mind, and it went into her DNA. Now, every woman through her, like in the ancestry now, has this belief that she is a victim of men. And
It
so did
just
I.
comes in that way. It's
It just
already
comes in.
written. Yeah.
Yes. So now I am born with this belief, and our subconscious mind creates more than 90% of our life,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
So I am born with this belief, and my life around me is just being created and recreated to reinforce to me that men are not nice people and they victimize women. And I see this happen again and again and again. And I get angry and angry and angrier with the men. But
Yeah.
I am creating it. I am creating it.
Yes. The
I
men
am
the men that you're around had nothing to do with it. You're already projecting it onto them or transferring it onto them.
exactly. And yeah,
I find it really interesting that the example you gave earlier on, like in terms of not knowing what you wanted, that you were actually wired to keep peace, which
yeah,
is really
yes,
like that's a complete conflict, right? With the
yes.
subconscious. Yeah. And that is probably some part of your, higher self or your soul that where you want to have a peaceful, harmonic world.
Mm.
But there's the subconscious that's the enemy. But then it shows up, like literally in that example, it was your dad asking you what
Yeah,
flavor,
yeah,
the man. And then, so you, rather than feeling the discomfort or knowing how to process all those feelings at a young age, you, you overrode it in the moment and chose peace,
mm,
keep the peace, don't show what's really happening for me, or don't even go there. Like it was a real survival mechanism for you. And if you had thought that men were the problem everywhere, then as a young girl, you'd need to keep the peace to feel safe. It's very interesting. Okay, okay, all right. You've got something you want to share. Please go ahead.
yeah. So when you're talking about keeping the peace, I am finding in my work as a theta healer, many of my clients have an obligation to keep the peace.
Yes. And you and I were talking a little bit earlier, and a lot of the women that I work with, they they get themselves into situations where they're keeping the peace, like in the family, for
Mm.
example, and then they're not asking themselves the questions of what is it they really want, because they feel obligated to friends, family, the situation, work, whatever it is. And so there's a cycle of obligation, avoiding what's really there, whatever they're feeling and wanting and needing. And they don't know how to do both. They don't know how to fulfill other people's needs or support them and also have their own needs met. And that's a big inner conflict and can very often lead to a lot of self-criticism because of the unrecognized feelings underneath it all. And often it does wind up in anger.
Mm.
There's an anger, and that it's so hard for people to admit. And I'd love for you to share in your work with women, what do you see as some of the things that are so challenging for them when it comes to releasing anger?
Yeah. So anger actually serves us. We get something out of anger. That's why many women are not ready to forgive and they're not ready to release.
I love that. So, what are some of the things that they, when you uncover it all and you find out what's going on or help them figure it out, what's at the root of it? Like, what are they getting from it? Are they
Mm.
getting that like sense of power or control, things like that?
There are different things, and some are very interesting, very, very interesting. Like they surprise you. Because the
Okay.
main job is when I do the theta healing, if I don't find out the real reason, it wouldn't work. The healing doesn't work. So we have to keep asking the questions till we find that deep why. And only then the subconscious says, okay, now I'm ready to release this anger.
Why
So
do you think the subconscious is finally able to? Like, why does it realize, does it recognize that it's not really helping? What do you think
mm,
that turning
okay,
point is about?
great. So let me give you an example. I think that will be helpful. So
Okay.
suppose this lady comes and she's very angry. And then we keep digging, 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 and we find out that anger keeps her safe.
Yes.
So this is now we found out this is her bottom belief that if she's not angry, she's unsafe. This is too scary. So she'll hold on to the anger, right? So this we've done. Now what we do is as a theta healer, we connect to the seventh plane of consciousness where we have the creator and we replace that belief with the belief that you are always in the company of creator and you're always safe.
Nice. Yes. I
And
liked hearing that just now. I can tell just hearing those words are very soothing, right? And settling. But that's a lot of angst beforehand to protect them. They need it. It's if somebody's not feeling safe, it's really hard for them to function and just to even show up and be in the world, right?
exactly, it's a basic need.
Yes. And so going to the ultimate source of safety
Hmm.
is amazing.
Yes. Yeah, it's beautiful how it works.
Yes. I love that about theta healings. Very beautiful work. So what started to shift in your own life as you did the releasing, like what did you start to notice with your kids? What did you start to
Mhm.
rejoice about?
Oh, so many things. What a lovely question, Tessa. I have had such a difficult relationship with my son for most part of his life. Now he's 14. But when I shifted this anger and that belief that I'm a victim and all that, and I did the work, my relationship with my son started improving.
Mm.
And he and me actually now are more like friends. And even though he's a teenager, he talks to me, and there are times when he will guide me. He's a very sorted gentleman, very sorted. Like even his teachers say how wise he is. So,
Mm.
so I could turn around my relationship with him. I think that was the biggest gift I got.
I would say that that would just be worth so much, really amazing.
Yeah. The other thing that happened was, which was huge, I could feel that huge difference. I used to wake up every morning feeling very guilty.
Oh,
Someone who's angry but actually wants to keep the peace can
it's
feel
like,
very guilty.
yeah, what's wrong with me? I'm not keeping the peace? I'm bad, yeah.
Yeah. So every morning I used to wake up with, you can imagine, a huge dark cloud of guilt over my head.
Mm.
Grudgingly move through the day. And when I did my work, oh, I that shifted for me. I'm so light, I'm happy, and I have sort of stopped nitpicking with the children as well. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? I dropped all the shoulds for myself. There are no shoulds now. I'm
Mm.
mothering my way. No one's going to tell me what I need to do. And I just found this authenticity within me, which I didn't know existed. Imagine the girl who didn't know which flavor of ice cream she wants. Today, I will tell you which brand of ice cream I want, where I want to eat it, when I want to eat
I love that. So you really now have a much better relationship with yourself. You're listening to your body, you know your preferences, and you're not afraid to speak those. And your world didn't fall apart. It actually got better, right?
got better. And the best part is, Tessa, I don't believe I'm a victim anymore.
Mm,
That
yes,
is the biggest shift.
yes,
And that's what I want for every woman.
yes. There's so much freedom in that, isn't there?
So, so much lightness and freedom and joy. How much joy we have.
Yes,
We have children we can enjoy. We might have a partner we can enjoy. But the victim mode really comes in the way of all these experiences.
yes. And how does that connect to, say, someone expressing their superpower or living in their superpower?
Hmm. How does that connect with it?
Mm-hmm.
That they are not feeling like victims anymore.
Right.
So, yeah, once you drop that victim belief, you stop projecting it on people around you. You start seeing them for who they are.
Mm.
And when I say superpower, Tessa, it's not like we have to become Superman or Batman and we are saving the world. And, we don't need to do all that.
Thank goodness.
We don't need to do all that. But we are right now below ground, I would say, when we keep thinking we are victims. We are below ground level.
Okay.
And we just need to come back to ground level so we can be in the present moment
Yes.
and enjoy the world for what it is right now.
Yes. And we're all part of that, right? These women are part of that. And they have, in terms of, I was thinking in terms of their superpowers, that would be like their gifts, right? Then they're free when they're here, they're then free to show their gifts. But if they're down here, they're just going to keep doing
Exactly.
this and bonking
Perfect.
themselves on the head.
I love that.
Oh my goodness. Well, that is just absolutely wonderful. Is there anything else? We're going to wrap up in just a couple of minutes, but is there anything else you'd like to share, Anumeha, around, something for these women to consider or something for them to look forward to?
I can share that there are different eras as per Hindu Vedic system, our
Hmm.
ancient sciences.
Yes.
There are different eras in the world, and each era is like many hundred years. And this is the era which is called Kali Yuga. That is, it is the era of goddess Kali.
Of course. Of course it is. Yes, I'm going to write that down.
So in this era, if you notice, I have noticed that the girls who are being born, they are very boisterous. I have noticed. They are strong already, they speak their mind. This is the time of the Kali. Goddess Kali is the goddess of power.
Yes.
And the energy of earth is now tuned for women to find that power back.
Yes, to not be afraid to speak, to have an actual opinion about something and say it or share it. And it's
Mm,
so wonderful. I didn't realize we were in the era of Kali, and I love that for women because she's also, she doesn't hide her
mhm,
feelings, right?
mm,
It's just raw power that can be ultra feminine or it can be really tough and firm.
mm.
And, it can be a destroyer
Exactly.
of, what's not wanted. Yes, it's really
Mhm.
powerful energy.
Yeah, we
Ah,
have access to that energy. And the more we come into our power, the more we can help our men and our children rise up because we are the leaders.
yes. So not waiting for the men to lead, but
No,
being the leaders, being the nurturers, the teachers, the guides, and
exactly.
nurturing that confidence and that wisdom inside our children and our partners.
Yes,
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Thank you for that.
thank you.
I would love for you to share with our listeners how they can get in touch with you and receive your free gift. I know you've got a free gift, and
Mm.
go ahead and tell them about that.
Yeah, sure. So I do have a free gift for all of you, and it's my 3 tips on how to understand the message of your anger and to release it. So that link will be there. When you do sign up for the free gift, you will automatically get subscribed to my newsletter. And if you want to unsubscribe, you can unsubscribe anytime. So that's a choice you will have. Besides that, I have a website. It's Ayuwise. It's Ayuwise. So that's my website. I am sure that link will be there too. And if you ever want to explore how you can release your pent up anger and find peace and forgiveness, then you can just book a 15-minute clarity call with me on my website, and then we can take it from there. So, generally, that's how people find me and connect with me.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I something just popped into my mind there, like in terms of people who are wanting help with anger, it's not just like anger at other people, but it might even be anger with themselves, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
definitely check out Anumeha's gift. It's fantastic. She's helped a lot of women get their lives back and start experiencing just joy instead
Mm.
of what they were experiencing and all those feelings of being stopped or having to fight their way through their lives. So I'm really glad you could be here today. Is there anything, any last thing you want to leave our listeners with?
I think it's great if you've been listening till now. Good job, I think. You've been with us. So you're already doing great if just listening to podcasts and finding sources to inspire you. You're already on the path. So great job,
Yes. Yes, I love that. Thank you for
right?
saying that. All right. Well, that is our show for today. I just really want to thank you for being here from the bottom of my heart. I'm so glad and I feel blessed that we connected and that you were able to be here with me and for our listeners. Ladies, I am wishing you inner peace, not through the repression or the avoidance of what you're feeling, but requesting that you find that inner peace by getting support for releasing it. You're not alone and there's nothing wrong with you, and you can be having a different experience of life. May it be so. I look forward to seeing you next week, and that's all for today. Bye bye for now.